What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for another press conference reaction and pre-match fan show. So the way we're going to structure this video is the first half of the video, we're going to be going through Jose Mourinho, every word he has said on his embargoed press conference that has been released today. And then we'll be getting you guys on to have your say on the upcoming game this weekend. Aston Villa away, Sunday, 7:30 kickoff at Villa Park. How you feeling for this one, Sim?
It's a massive game for Jose and his future at this club. It really is. There's no, you can't put it any bigger than that. His future at this club is in serious jeopardy. And if we do take a big loss at Villa Park, I think he could he might even struggle to last the international break. That's how big it could be for him. So it couldn't be much bigger in terms of his career at the club, our season, and where we're at. So it's a massive game. I know the Europa League, obviously we went out of it yesterday, and that was a massive blow to our season in terms of ability to win silverware and what we can achieve this season. But we still have the tiniest glimpse of top four. And if we want to take full advantage of that, it has to be 3 points on Sunday. And there's no other result. We can get a draw, it's not good enough. And we have to get all 3 points. And Jose has a serious reaction, rebuilding of confidence to do after that defeat yesterday. So it'll be interesting to see how he lines up and what approach he goes for and what we kind of see, especially after all the comments from Lloris after the game and his comments after the game. Well, it's interesting to see what lineup he does play.
Do you think that this lineup will be very telling about who he believes in the squad and who he doesn't?
Potentially. It should be, anyway, because he shouldn't be playing any of the players he doesn't trust, that's for sure. So it's
Can he field an 11 of players he can completely trust, though?
Probably not. But he has to do what he can do. Well, I don't know. It's difficult. It's very difficult, but it could be the end of him on Sunday. That's how bad it is at the moment. We're in full-on crisis mode here this season. It's really turned to shit, and that's just the reality of the situation. We can't run away from it. Mourinho has to take a big chunk of responsibility for that, and it could cost him his job with a bad result on Sunday, especially, or a bad performance.
All right, well, shall we get into the press conference? It has been released. It is up on the channel, the full press conference, by the way, if you want to go and watch it uninterrupted. But we'll be going through each question and reacting to each question that has been asked to Jose Mourinho. Let's get into it.
You have it? It's on the phone.
You got the intro there, haven't you?
It's on the phone, yeah?
Yeah.
So if I play it, it'll...
Yeah, but you got the intro.
Oh.
10 seconds.
1 sec. I can't really see it. I can't see it. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see what you mean now.
Mike McGrath, you've got your hand up, so we'll go to you first.
Is that audio?
Hi, Jose.
Hello.
Hi. You have enough leaders in this squad when Sonny's not playing or Højbjerg's not there. It looks like the levels drop. Do you feel that you have enough leaders elsewhere in your squad?
We didn't lose because of Son and because of Pierre. I think that's quite a nice way. It's quite a nice way that would allow me to go in that direction and to use that as one of the reasons for. I appreciate the chance that you gave me, but I'm not going to accept that chance. I am too honest, and I am too hurted with this to accept that chance. It was not because of Sonny. Was not because of Pierre. Of course, two very good players. Of course, two guys that are important in the team. But I refuse. I totally refuse to say that. to speak about leaders on the pitch is something that makes me a little bit uncomfortable. I think it's something that belongs to us, belongs to the dressing room, belongs to the life of us as a working a group. And of course, from the outside, you can have your perspective. You can analyze it, and probably with your experience and knowledge, you can take some conclusions. But I'm not going in that direction. The reason why we lost the game today was because for 100 minutes or so, one team put absolutely everything on that pitch, and another team only felt the pride and only felt, let's say, a motivation to fight for when the result was already in 3-0. Yes, in these 10 minutes, we had the chances to score a goal and to go through, but they beat us on heart. They beat us on another thing that I refuse to say in front of the cameras. But when you lose on that, as a professional, you have to be very, very hurted. And this is the way I feel. I'm not just sad. And I'm happy to be a guy with lots of experience and lots of emotional control, because I can control what I feel in this moment, at least in front of the cameras.
Okay, thank you.
So we lost because we're lack of heart and lack of something he can't say in front of the cameras. I think that big C word.
Cojones.
We have to be bastards.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what he's also referring to.
Yeah, he's talking about lack of balls, lack of fighters, lack of attitude, lack of everything, mate. Lack of absolutely everything on that pitch yesterday. And everyone can see it. It's there for all to see. It doesn't leave for Jose Mourinho to say it, just for us to see it.
He said he's not going to go in the direction of blaming the absence of Højbjerg and Son for the defeat. And obviously, we should be good enough to win this game without them. But if Højbjerg was there and Son, do you think we lose that yesterday? It's hard to say. I know it's impossible.
It's hard to say. It really is. But you know, if Sonny is there, there's more chance of a goal. If Højbjerg is there, there's less chance of them scoring a goal, kind of thing, and we'd be a lot more tougher in the middle of the park. But still, no excuses. No excuses with those players that were on the pitch last night. They're all Premier League quality. Well, they should be all Premier League quality players. Harry Winks, you look at him, he's been in and out the England squad for the past couple of years. He should be good enough to play against Zagreb. Moussa Sissoko, he's just been called up for the French squad. We're world champions at the moment. He's in their squad. You know what I mean? So I'm accepting what Jose's saying there, and I refuse to believe it was due to the quality on the pitch. It's definitely down to application, attitude, lack of balls, lack of cojones, and lack of being aggressive on the pitch and doing what you need to do to get over the line.
What do you think of his body language there? Does he look like a man who looks like he thinks he can turn it around?
I mean, I don't claim to be a body language expert, but it's hard to say, isn't it? It really is hard to say. I mean, he does kind of look like a bit of a dead man walking at the moment.
Looks a bit defeated, doesn't he? That's my worry. Before, he was a bit defiant. He was like so strongly convicted that he kept saying, "Oh, we're in the false position. We're not in the right position. We have a lot more quality than we're showing. We'll be up in the table. The table won't lie at the end of the season." Now he seems a bit defeated.
I think he's backed his ability all the way through his Spurs career. And when the same things keep happening over and over again, and when you look at the bigger picture, when the same thing was happening under his predecessor as well, I think sometimes you will get a bit deflated, you know what I mean? And I think that's what we're seeing at the moment.
That's big worry when it gets to that stage, when you start losing confidence in yourself. That's when bad things generally happen, and bad things are already happening. But all right, let's go on to the next question.
Hi, Jose. Is this the most difficult night of your career, or one of the most difficult, do you think?
For sure, it is one of the most difficult. I don't know if it is the most difficult one. But honestly, I don't believe a similar feeling. Yeah, I had in Europe moments of big pain, but pain caused by what football is. You know, I lost Champions League semi-final, two Champions League semi-finals on penalties. It hurts you. Maybe still bleeding, but the feeling of the passion for football, the respect for your job, is something that hurts me deeply. And today I have this very bad feeling. I have this very bad feeling because maybe for some people in football, football is a job, or football is a way to make money. For me, is much more than that. That's why I never lose these basics of football, which is the passion, the heart, the desire. I feel very, very hurted. I cannot find more words to describe it. The only positive thing that I take from here is this happiness that these people feels in this moment, and by feeling the happiness of these people, I can imagine on the silence the opposite feeling of Tottenham fans, and of course I feel very hurt with that.
Okay, we're going to go Mike Walters.
It's tough. It's tough to listen to, isn't it? Do you think he's a man who still has that passion and that drive? Because people accuse him of being someone who lost the hunger after winning everything. Do you think he's lost it, that hunger? Or do you think he still has that hunger?
I think he still has the hunger. I don't see why not. I mean, it's hard to put two and two together with the squad on the pitch and the Jose Mourinho and the fans. I mean, everyone just seems to be on three completely different pages, you know. Maybe Jose Mourinho is slightly on the same page as the fans, but everything he says there about the application, the desire, the passion, the reasons why you go into football, the reasons why you're on that pitch to play football, you just don't see that there from the Tottenham players. You don't see that there consistently for many years with these Tottenham players. I mean, the back end of Poch, we didn't win an away game for over a year. The problems were clearly there, evidently there for everyone to see. And these same problems are rearing their ugly head under Jose Mourinho. And in terms of, does he have the passion to win? Yeah, I do think he has the passion to win. I just think that we're trying to flog a dead horse at the moment with this squad. And unless there's drastic changes in this squad, what can he do?
Do you think when he says like he still had like his passion for football, like some people see it as a job, but I see it as my passion and my love for the game, and that's why I always have the fundamentals of passion and always giving 100%, and maybe some people don't have the same. Do you think in terms of like the modern player, like a lot of them maybe just see it as a career instead of having actual passion for the game, and maybe that's something that he can't get to grips with?
I think it's very rare for a football player to make it that far in the game without having the passion for the game. You got to say that. I mean, apart from like the odd player like Benoit Asuakoto, who evidently said he's only in it for the money and stuff like that. But I think that it's very rare for a player to get that far in the game without kind of working hard, showing your passion, be your whole life revolving around the game. I think it's very rare, and it takes for stuff to happen within a squad for you to fall out of love with the game. I'm not saying the players are falling out with love for the game, but it seems as though they've fallen out in love with the club. They're not trying for the club anymore, and it will suit everyone. For them to get a new challenge, for us to get new players, it will just suit everyone for there to be massive changes around this football club.
Yeah, I just get a feeling with a lot of these players that they're especially the ones who aren't in the first team at the moment. It's like they're not bothered to fight for their place. They're like, I can probably outlast this manager even if I'm not putting in 100%. And it's like either they don't believe they can get into the first team, or they don't care whether they do or not. And it's like they're not. And I feel like when Mourinho had like the mindset previously with his previous squads, like all the players, even the ones on the bench, right? I think they're all like always give 100% even whenever they're on the pitch. And I feel like a lot of the players we have at the moment, they just don't have that mentality to give everything to fight for minutes on the pitch. And it's like they're okay with having an appearance here and an appearance there. And whether that's a man management thing or not, it remains to be seen. But I think the way they're performing and their attitude towards games is definitely found wanting. And he's commented on that before. I remember in one Europa League game he said some players are playing like they shouldn't be here and stuff like that. He's not the first time he's brought this up, and now it's all coming to a head.
Yeah, and I think that this Champions League final that we got to could be one of the worst things that actually happened to us, because when you look at it, the players that got us to this Champions League final, Winks, Sissoko in the middle, I mean, since that, they've just seemed like to be breezing through their Spurs career after that. That they've been there, they've done that. They got to a Champions League final against all the odds,
So
and now they think they're the shit, and they can't, and their passion and their desire is just not there anymore. And
so
these,
they're too good for anything
you know what I mean?
else.
You know what I mean? And like they got luckily to a Champions League final. There's no two ways about it. Don't get it twisted. We were lucky to get to that Champions League final that year. Our league form was completely diving. We got through games, through VAR in that Man City game, through the death at Ajax, you know what I mean? These are lucky ways to get through. We got through the group stages at the skin of our teeth as well, just the group stages. And these players that got to this Champions League final, for me, I just think they all think they got a bit too big for their boots.
Yeah, but even the Champions League final, not Champions League final, even in that run, the Champions League, we got through. Yeah, there was luck in there, but you could see every ounce of effort was being poured into every one of those performances. And even though we were, getting battered in the first half against Ajax and, the game at White Hart Lane, it was really tough for us. But you could see every ounce of effort was being poured into those games, and we just about scraped through, from margins here and there, Lloris making saves and things like that, and obviously, Lucas scoring, but we needed that to get through. And it was almost as if in the league they weren't putting in that same effort they were putting in the Champions League, because they felt like we're in top four, we don't need to really go for it anymore because we got a good lead. We had like a 10-point lead on fifth or something, and that's why the league form completely dived.
And they carried on that mentality into the next season.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what happened. They felt like they could just do the same stuff again in going into the next season. It'll be fine. But now they've come with a rude awakening, and I think these players should be questioning how good they think they are and how good they want to be, and whether they're happy with the current level they're performing at. Because if they keep it up, they're going nowhere at the moment. They're going absolutely nowhere, and they'll at the end, it'll be the Champions League finals, all they got to show for it in their whole career. And that's going to be the reality.
100%.
Super chat here from Paul Gregory. Under Poch, we got further in better cups and ran the league close, and this is what people are saying. Are saying the same players. Under Poch, we got further in better cups and ran the league close, and this is with what people are saying the same players. We did, but that was earlier in his career.
The squad was finished by the time Pochettino left. The squad was a finished squad, and we needed a massive upgrade, like we keep saying, 2 years before Poch left.
Peak Poch was, the players were young, they were hungry, they were energetic, they were willing to
Moussa
run the
Dembele
yards.
in the middle there.
Yeah, but they were willing to run those extra yards for the team to make sure that we proved to them we're better than them, right? And that's what got us those 3 consecutive top 3 finishes, outrunning teams, outworking teams, putting those extra yards in. But
as soon as that stops, that was always going to go on a slide.
Yeah, and as soon as we got the Champions League final, it was like we felt like we were too good for that. We were too good to do the extra yard. It's like teams have to do that against us now because we're better than them. But I think we lost sight of the bigger picture of what got us to that position near the top. I think this squad has completely lost sight of that.
Yeah,
and they've yet to regain sight of it.
Yeah, I think that all of that Champions League run, the way the media were talking us up at the time as well, it all got to their heads. And you've got average players then that were outperforming themselves and outdoing themselves, outrunning themselves, working so hard for the team. Harry Winks performance in the second half against Barcelona. Like, what a performance. You know what I mean? When are you ever going to see Harry Winks put in a performance like that again?
Haven't. I think that Champions League final, though, was a culmination of all the good work. I think the manager deserved it more than like the set of players probably deserved that, something to show for that culmination of all the good work he's put in over the past 5 years. But I agree. I think that in that season, especially in that second half, it just kind of, I think the players got it in their head that they're better than they are now, so they don't need to be putting in those extra yards. They don't need to be doing the extra work. They don't need to keep themselves as fit as they were. And we're seeing the culmination. Well, that's what Hugo was saying yesterday. He said the club is an ambitious club, but the players at the moment, they're not all pulling in the same direction. And it's the results are a consequence of what is happening in the club, and that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I think there's one more question.
I think Hugo was absolutely spot on the money as everything he was saying last night. But unfortunately, I think Hugo's going to leave this summer. I mean, we need people with that mentality and that attitude to stay in the club.
It's going to be a very interesting summer by all accounts, depending on how we finish the season. But I think it's going to be a very interesting summer. I think it's the last question in the press conference.
Katie Shanahan. Mike first.
Jose, good evening. You're a serial winner. Everywhere you have been, you've won trophies.
I can't hear.
You've won things. Do you still believe, after a horrid week, that you are going to win things at Tottenham?
No, there are some players and some groups where it's easier to win. That's obvious. And tonight we lost a chance of winning a trophy. I'm not saying that by winning tonight we would win the Europa League. Far from it. I'm not saying that. I never told that. But tonight we were knocked out of a competition where if you go to the quarterfinals, you have 12.5% chances of winning the competition. So tonight we can say that we lost a competition. Of course, the only chance that we have to win a trophy this season is the final that we have to play against a very good team, against the next champion, and against a team that match after match they show an incredible desire of winning. So it will be a very, very difficult final, and if we want to have a chance to win it, of course, the attitude has to be completely different.
Okay, Katie Shanahan with the last question.
There's one more question after this, but Jose asked about his winning mentality and if does he think he can still win at Tottenham? Well, the chances are definitely running slim in this season. He's got one more opportunity to win a trophy. Do you think he still has that winning mentality? It's hard to know, isn't it?
It's hard to say. I mean, I think he does. I personally believe he does. When Jose Mourinho first got announced as Tottenham manager, or the rumours first came out, I was not for it. I did not want Jose Mourinho here, but I quickly jumped on the bandwagon. I quickly started believing in Jose Mourinho, and I still believe in him now. I genuinely do. But he needs time. He needs a rebuild. He needs money. And it's going to take a long time. And if it is going to take a long time, it's going to take 3-4 years to build this club back up to where we want it to be. Unfortunately, I don't think Jose is the man to do that.
But so do you think Spurs is going to be his only club not to win anything?
I mean, Dr. Tottenham, we all knew this was a very big chance of this happening.
Yeah, and it's turning into reality at the moment, isn't it? It's a scary reality, like a nightmare at the moment. But yeah, it's interesting. He says some groups it's easier to win than others. You think in terms, obviously this is his biggest challenge in his career, that's for sure. But do you think he was given the tools to win stuff?
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
Of course he wasn't. He wasn't. Pochettino wasn't. Redknapp wasn't. Boas wasn't. Name me one manager under Daniel Levy's Enix tenure that was.
And I think Mourinho was obviously tasked to overachieve, but the only way you can overachieve is how Pochettino did it, by getting these young, fresh players with quality to really do the extra running and do those extra yards and outfight teams and outwork teams. We used to suffocate teams. That's what we used to do, and that's obviously what he wants to do. But It's just these set of players, they're not able to do that. They're not able to do that as much as they could have before. And he can't eke out every single bit of quality that Poch was able to do, because these players don't have that desire that they used to have.
Are they not able to do it, or do they not want to do it?
I think a bit of both, actually. I think they're not able to do it, and as a consequence, they're probably blaming other factors for them not being good enough in themselves. And then because of that, they probably go along confidence and they think, oh, it's Mourinho's fault because he's doing this and that, and that's why he's not picking me. It's not my fault. They don't look within themselves because of their own limitations. And when you're working extra hard and doing the extra work, you can kind of negate for that. But when you're not, that's when the problems start setting in. I think there's a real mentality problem in this squad at the moment.
I mean, at the moment, it's been here for a long time now.
Yeah. Alberto O says, so bring in new manager will make Dyer and Sanchez world class. I'm Jose in. It's the players that don't feel for the jersey. Yep. I don't disagree with that. Let's just get into this last question then in the presser.
Jose, what do you want to see from your players against Aston Villa on Sunday?
That's the same question. That's the same question after the game against Arsenal, and I didn't see today what I wanted to see. So it's hard to say, because I was expecting tonight a complete different attitude, and we didn't get that. Obviously, what do I want against Aston Villa? I want exactly all the ingredients that I told in some of the previous questions, that are what I consider the basic of honest professional. Doesn't matter the area. In this moment, we are speaking about football. We could be speaking about any other area in society. The basics of every job is the honesty, the commitment, the desire, the respect for the people that expect that you do a good work. All these ingredients, that's what I expect to have every day, every match.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good
Thank you.
evening.
Exactly, and that's what we all expect as a fan base.
He seems to have run out of
The
ideas.
fundamentals. But how can you not have run out of ideas? How can you not? When the
No,
players
it's
just don't give a
worrying.
shit.
I agree with you. The players do ultimately take a big. I think they take most of the blame.
What has he not tried this season?
He's tried everything, but he does seem a man who's run out of ideas, doesn't he? That's the worry. He does seem a guy who said he looks like he's tried everything, and that's also a worry. As much as you like to, I want to back him, and I am backing him. I still believe he's a good manager, but he does look like a guy in that press conference who's starting to run out of things to try and ideas to turn this around. And he was saying how he wanted to see a reaction off the Arsenal game, and was what he expected to see, and that's not what happened. And what's to stop it happening again on Sunday? It doesn't sound like there's anything, a plan in place or something to try to stop these kind of performances happening on a consistent basis. That's the worry. It is worrying. This whole situation's worrying. But that's the press conference. We're going to get to the calls now.
All right, let's get to the calls. We got a lot of people waiting there. A lot of people want to have their say. So if you are trying to get in, please bear with us, and we will be getting everyone on. But let's start off with Eden Cooper.
Eden.
Hi, Eden. How's it going, mate?
Hello, guys. How are you doing?
I can't hear.
No, you can't hear. Hey, Eden,
Hello?
you're right. No, it's right. I can hear you. Can you hear now?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all good.
mate.
Okay, cool.
Looking forward to the game on Sunday. Not looking forward to it, but dreading it a bit. But what are your thoughts on what Jose had to say, and what's your thoughts ahead of the game?
Well, obviously not looking forward for the game on Sunday, but I mean, as fans, we have to somehow. So yeah, talking about Jose and what he said, I think I really would like to concentrate on what Hugo said. I think his words were spot on. And I think he was so honest in his words that I feel like he'll leave in the summer, because a man who says the truth of how the club is going and what the squad's problem are, I mean, I could really see this to be his last season, as much as I wouldn't like to see him go. But that's for another talk. What he said was very important. Like there's no togetherness in the squad. There's no fight for positions. It's just very sad. I remember like back when Poch was coach, we would have players like Fernando Llorente sitting on the bench. He was world champion, won Serie A with Juventus, a big player. Coming off the bench, he would put 100% in when he was called upon in Champions League games. He saved us many times, even in the league. And now we're seeing players like Musa Sissoko, Davinson Sanchez, who have won nothing in their careers, absolutely nothing, and just not bothering. Not only Fernando Llorente is an example. Another good example could be Victor Wanyama in his last season. He played against Man City in the quarterfinal. He wasn't at his best in terms of physicality, but he was given 100%. He was running. That's just what was missing yesterday. As Jose said, there was one team, Dinamo Zagreb, going from the first minute until the 120th minute, going 100%, wanting the game more than us. And this proves that in football, you don't need 11 big players to win a game. You need 11 men that want to fight for the badge, and we just didn't have that.
Moving on to the game this weekend, do you have any sort of confidence this squad and this manager can go and get this result this weekend that we desperately need?
Well,
oh, what happened there?
Oh, has he gone?
I think he got disconnected or something. If you do try rejoin, we'll try and get you back on.
Sorry,
but who have we got
try and get you
next?
back on.
Cody McDiddle.
Hi, guys.
How's it doing,
Good
Cody?
to see you today, Cody.
Yeah, well, like I said on Twitter today, I keep a special coffee for mornings like this one, and I'm starting to run out. It's just been I mean, can you believe how much our tone has changed here in just 5 days?
I know.
Football moves quickly, doesn't it?
It's absolutely, life comes at you fast, doesn't it, Cody?
Yep.
But do you have any sort of confidence coming into this game? Any chance that we can get anything?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard to come into any game with confidence right now with the results that we've been getting.
Sure.
It's clear that the players are not able to motivate themselves, and that Jose is not able to motivate them either. Yeah, I mean, I think clubs are really licking their chops coming into games against us, because we've shown that we haven't really rectified that soft underside, that soft mentality. And yeah, I mean, basically, the way I see it, we are a bang average measuring stick for the Premier League right now. If you're a club that can't beat us, then you're not a good club. If you're a club that we can't beat, then you're a good club. We are right smack in the middle, you know, and it's really disappointing at this point, because, you know, I still believe that Jose Mourinho at 57 years old is still capable of great things. But I mean, let me put it to you this way before I go on. If you had to give away blame between Jose and the players, what percentage would you put down to Jose, and what percentage would you put down to the players?
Me personally, I think 60-70% to the players.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, so that's been the general consensus with people that I've been discussing. And we knew that the players were an issue under Poch as well. So to me, we have a backwards business model where we are refusing to invest in the club properly unless we make top four, you know? So like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Because like, really, are we gonna sell Harry Winks so that we can get rid of Jose Mourinho? Because if we can't afford to buy players without selling them, how can we afford to sack Jose Mourinho? You know, what I'm hoping for is that regardless of what happens for the rest of this Premier League season, that we go into the summer, we keep Jose Mourinho, and we properly back him.
I agree. Cody, I want to ask you in terms of what Lloris has been saying is, you know, a lot of the players on the fringes, a lot of the players on the substitutes who have been the ones who aren't really trying as hard or aren't following what the manager's saying. Is there any hope that from now to the end of the season, with only playing one game a week, not having European football to worry about, that if we do keep to that core first 11 for majority of the games, then maybe we can turn around the form?
I mean, we have to keep hope. We have to, you know? If Manchester United win Europa, does that not open up an additional spot for Champions League?
No.
It doesn't?
Does it not? You sure?
If Man United win Europa, it doesn't open up an extra spot. Not for the English, not in the league.
You sure? I thought I read somewhere that it does.
Not in the league. What, you think fifth goes into Champions League?
It's happened before.
No, I don't think so. I think it goes to somewhere. It goes into like the qualifying or something. I don't think it goes to us.
You sure? You 100% sure about that?
Not 100%.
I'm not 100% sure either way.
I'm pretty certain.
But
maybe someone can let us know in the comments, because I read somewhere yesterday that it
I don't think it opens up an extra spot.
Okay, maybe not.
I mean, I am holding on to a thread of hope that we can come back with a refreshed mindset after the international break, that we can survive the Villa game, because let's face it, as a club right now, you can't deny that we are on the ropes for this season. So, I do have hope. But, I mean, there's poison. There's poison in that dressing room. And there's been enough players kind of put onto the outskirts of the team and ostracized. It's not hard to pick out who the poison is. And we're in that transitory phase right now, right? If the players are the problem, and the players were the problem under Poch, and all 11 players that started last night were players that were here when Poch was here, then how can we expect Jose to do great things when we haven't gotten rid of the deadwood that we knew were a problem under Poch? So Poch was given that chance. He was given the chance to get rid of the players that he didn't want as a part of his squad, and he was given a chance to build the squad in his image. And we can't say, despite the fact that we brought in players last summer, we can't say that we've properly given Jose Mourinho that chance. The fact that we are where we are right now just illustrates that despite the relative investment that we had last summer, the problems are much bigger than that.
Yeah, I completely agree. But the Telegraph, I'm just reading, apparently they had an article today saying a section of players within the Tottenham Hotspur squad are understood to be questioning the training methods under Jose Mourinho and his handling of situations. Do you think that's a section of the playing staff you could probably predict who they are? Or do you reckon it could be some of the more senior ones?
Well, I think when we hired Jose Mourinho, it should not come as a surprise to us that he is a style of manager who is authoritarian, and he is a little bit of an egomaniac. So we can't expect Jose to go out into the media and be taking more than his fair share of the blame. You know, he's always going to kind of tell it how it is in certain aspects. And I mean, you saw it in the Amazon documentary. I think, we could probably make a list of players right now, and we wouldn't be too far off as far as the subsection, the dissenting players, the groups within the group that are causing the problems. And I mean, it's not hard to see when you see the display on the pitch. I mean, Harry Winks last night. I mean, I woke up this morning, 3 a.m. local time, and couldn't get back to sleep because I was trying to rack my brain. Did Harry Winks make a tackle? Did Harry Winks make one forward pass? Did Harry Winks dispossess one Zagreb player? All I can remember is him reversing play, making lateral moves and whatnot. And I mean, I just can't believe that these are the discussions that we're having to have right now about our football club, considering where we were a week ago. It's just, it boggles the mind.
I know. It's very frustrating.
Cody, just before we let you go, can we get a score prediction for the weekend?
I think I probably should not give a score prediction. That's that's my prediction. You know what? Here's what I predict.
And that's Cody Mack, everyone.
That'll probably be better than our last two performances, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
I want to see something. You know what? In the end, we can go and we can lose the game, but we can't look like we've looked the last two games. We can't. We absolutely
Ultimately,
can't.
though, if we show passion, if we show fight, if we show desire, we'll get the points.
Yes, but we have to sustain that for 90 minutes. We've seen glimpses of passion, you know, like I thought the second half of the West Ham game when Gareth Bale came on, you could see we were after it. But why can we not come with passion from the beginning? Why are we always waiting until we are up against the wall to show our mettle, you could argue that we just don't have it.
Because they lack the fundamentals, as Jose says and as Hugo Lloris says.
Yeah, before I go, I know I don't want to take up too much time, but like, what is mentality? How do you measure that? Does it come from winning games, or do you have the mentality before? Right?
You have it before, I think.
So is it something that comes with management, or is it something that players are born with?
I think. Do you not think that every player has the mentality to start off with? Because to get to where you are in that top level professional game, you have to have the mentality to get there.
Well, you have to have there's a quality and mentality, isn't there?
You can have the quality and not the mentality, and you won't get there. Look at like a Ravel Morrison,
but not a top level mentality. To like, you have a good enough. If you can marry mentality and quality, you can have if you have enough quality, you can only get so far. So quality can take you very, very far. But without their mentality, you're not going to...
Look at a player like Ravel Morrison. You know,
exactly.
He had Sir Alex Ferguson said he was the best youth player ever to come out of Manchester United, but he didn't have the mentality, so he ultimately didn't go anywhere. But the players that we've got, you know, they've actually got to the top level of professional sport to a degree. So they must have some sort of mentality to get there.
A follow-up question would be, is it the responsibility of the players to possess or cultivate their own mentalities, or is it the responsibility of the manager?
I think to a degree it is the manager, but then the players got to look at themselves as well, because they're not like babies, you know what I mean? They don't need to be spoon-fed through every single game. There's got to be a point where the players are ultimately responsible. The manager does take some sort of blame, but I think the majority does go on the player.
Okay. Well, I know you got a lot of callers to go through, so I'll let you go. Thanks, guys. Glory, glory.
Up the Spurs. Come on, Cody.
You,
shall we get Eden back on? Is he there?
Here he is.
Hi, Eden. I'm not sure what happened there, but you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that.
What were you saying?
Yeah, you asked me about if I'm looking forward for the Villa game.
Yeah. Are you?
Yeah, as I was saying, obviously we're not, but as a fan base, we have to try and look forward for something, because as much as the season might be over for a lot of fans, we have to say that it's still March. We have 10 games left in the league. We've got a final, so we just as fans we have to look forward for that. That's all we can do. And as much as in this moment, I really kind of hate some of the players that we have, I feel that they're very lucky that we're still in the early, like we're not, the season isn't over. They're very, very lucky because they still have a slight chance to redeem themselves. I don't think they're going to do it because they haven't shown it, but in football, like everything is possible. Because if we finish in top 4 and win the Carabao Cup against Man City, not all is forgiven, because a performance like yesterday's will never be forgiven, but we can then move on in a decent way. So yeah, that's the only kind of positives I can see for the future, but it's going to be very tough. I just hope that Jose keeps calm, because we've seen in his previous jobs that when he gets to this level of pressure, he usually doesn't handle it, because honestly, I'm with him, because I don't think he deserves to be working with such unprofessionalism in the squad. But I really hope he maintains calm. It's not easy, but I think he can do it.
All right, and can we get a score prediction?
I'll say 1-0. We're gonna get it at the last minute and kick on from them.
1-0 Spurs. All right, Eden. Absolute pleasure as always. We'll see you next time.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Bye. Bye, guys.
See you later, mate.
According to Matt Law, says if Daniel Levy does sack Mourinho, it is likely he would put him on gardening leave, as he did with Pochettino, meaning Tottenham could continue to pay him monthly to avoid paying an immediate lump sum. Yeah, they've just released an article, Mourinho fighting an uphill battle to keep his Tottenham job and keep his players united behind him. This comes from supporting... Wait, is this the same thing? No, it's not the same thing. But look,
It looks like
we had this a couple of weeks ago.
Writing's on the wall, though.
We had this a few weeks ago.
Writing's on the wall, in my opinion. I can't see a situation. I just can't see a situation where Jose Mourinho is our manager next season. I just can't see it. We're not going to finish top 4.
Yeah, and it sounds like if we don't, he's a goner.
I just can't see a situation where he's our manager next season. And like I said, I wasn't for Jose Mourinho when he first came to Spurs, but I quickly jumped on that bandwagon. You look at his CV, you look at what he's done throughout his career, and it's not hard to get on side. It's really not. But it looks as though the writing is on the wall at the moment, and it's a shame. It's a shame because it's going to be the first ever job where he hasn't won anything. The first ever job. Classic Dr. fucking Tottenham at it yet again. Let's get Jack on. Yes, Jack. I can't hear him.
Oh, I can't hear him either. You there? No,
Shit.
no. Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you
yeah.
now.
Okay. Spoke too soon, maybe.
Yeah, just about. Jack, man, this is tough. But did you listen to what Mourinho had to say in his press conference? What do you make of his demeanour at the moment? Does he seem like a man who's running out of ideas for you?
Yeah, I listened to it kind of twice over. I listened to it before you guys went live, and then obviously I was watching along earlier. And the second time over, I was kind of looking at the body language. And like I said, kind of yesterday, Jose was a major idol of mine, and it's difficult to see him kind of just in these kind of almost just, I don't know, kind of weak positions that he normally would find an easier way to kind of fight himself out of. But it's kind of today, I don't know about you guys, I feel like I have a bit more clarity. At first, I feel like I was a bit harsh on Jose, but then at the same time, I had this clarity of it was at the end of the day still Dinamo Zagreb, and with the players that were on the pitch, they should just, no matter even if they hate the manager, even if their manager, even if Jose went to prison, like Dinamo's manager, they should have still been able to pull it out. And
to be fair, if Jose did go to prison, we definitely would have got a prisoner bounce.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. But that's I have a bit more clarity, at least in my own opinions or my personal idea, that at the end of the day, regardless of what's going on behind the scenes with Jose, players still should have been able to be professional enough to produce a much better result.
Jack, do you think there's any way that Jose Mourinho can turn it around at Tottenham?
I mean, Aston Villa is not a bad case study, you could say. I mean, Ezri Konsa and Tyrone Mings are quality center backs. They have a decent defense. Recently, they're actually on a bad run of form. I think they lost to Sheffield, drew their other game against Newcastle and Wolves, so kind of the bottom half teams of the Premier League. So they could be in kind of they might be either motivated or kind of disheartened by that, and so maybe we could take advantage of that. I think it could be a good case study, because what's difficult to see is I feel like all the teams that are in the top 4 are kind of in a resurgence, are playing quite well right now, and we have a lot of ground to make up.
And if I'm not mistaken, out of our next 4 Premier League games, we've got Villa, then Newcastle, then Manchester United, then Everton. So I mean,
yeah.
They have to be all wins. Exactly. We need to win all 4 games if we're going to stand any sort of chance, aren't we?
And what's also tough is, I think I looked a while back at Chelsea's fixtures, and Chelsea doesn't really have too difficult of a run of fixtures at the end, especially on the form that they're on. And it's just hard to see any of the top 4 right now dropping points.
Yeah. I mean, we do have Leicester last game of the season, and I was pinning all my hopes on that to make it
who knows, that could be
maybe a last game of the season special, but I just can't see it at the moment. I can't see it.
We could even have a great run of form, but it seems like you said, we'd have to win all of them in order to really be in any way proud of ourselves and saying that we had a fighting chance.
Yeah, no, 100%.
What's your prediction then for Sunday, Jack?
Like I said earlier, Aston Villa are at a actually pretty poor run of form recently against some pretty, bad opposition this season over the total of the campaign. So I could see them. Jack Grealish, though, I think he's kind of like a game time decision, or whether he'll decide to play or not.
He'll play. Don't you worry about that.
Right. Apparently, he hasn't trained with the team at all, but he's supposed to be kind of at full fitness. So he could probably come in and have a field day against us. But then again, Bertrand Traore is actually out, I believe. So, I mean, they are kind of weakened, and who knows, maybe Jose might find the motivation here. The players might find the motivation within themselves, and I could see something like 3-1. That's what I'm going to go for, 3-1 Tottenham.
Wow,
Still
3-1 Tottenham. Come on, Jack. That's what I love to see.
I think Aston Villa are weak, and this could be a case study for whether they really want to decide to go for it this season.
If we beat Villa this weekend, it'll be the first time since Southampton, the second game of the season, since we've beaten a side in the top 10.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I think it's going to be a good case study to see if they're really up for it.
All right, Jack, we'll speak to you after the game. Have a good weekend, and
you as well, guys.
Get some nice rest, because it could be a bumpy day on Saturday.
Yeah, surprisingly, I slept well, and then when I woke up in the haze of what actually happened, I somehow woke up with a bit of clarity. So I don't know about you guys, but
it was a weird one for me.
It's still sad clarity. It's still very sad.
It was a weird one for me because I went to bed really angry. Angry, and I woke up even angrier. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we just need to invest in some better pillows for our horrid nights.
Definitely. But Jack, thanks a lot, man. We'll see you next time.
All right. See you guys.
See you, mate.
Reading this article, it says in the same article it says some players are questioning the training methods and his handling of various situations. It does also say Mourinho retains the support of some of Tottenham's key players, but others are understood to be questioning his methods. And it also says some sources suggest Mourinho needs a miracle to hold on to his job, while other sources claim that Levy is still desperate for his gamble to pay off. So seems like conflicting reports kind of from the sources at the moment, but still quite interesting. But yeah.
Let's hope he's not just chasing losing bets. You know what I mean? When you just chase losing bets, and get yourself into some sort of hole. Although we are in a hole anyway. So let's get Alex on. Let's see what he has to say.
Hey guys,
Alex, how you doing?
Hey.
Mate?
Oh, same as you. Really woke up like just so angry and felt like it was a bad dream. Yeah. Then I woke up and all of Twitter was reminding me it wasn't. So that was fun. And just feeling really negative. Really interesting articles coming out though this morning, as you kind of expect they would. Hearing
what do you make out of them all?
I think that the writing is on the wall for Mourinho. I really do. And I think you were completely spot on there. You know, is Levy going to try, just chase the losses? I don't think he will. He's a very very smart guy. Got a double first at Cambridge. This guy, he does actually.
Don't worry, we know that with his talk with Tanguy and Dombele.
So
I'm a fighter.
Exactly, and he's a very smart guy, and I think he knows if a manager loses the dressing room, which it's clear that, I mean, if he's retained the support of some key players, great, but you need everyone singing from the same hymn sheet, and the team are just not doing that at the moment. So it's just very, very difficult, really.
Yeah,
it's difficult to solve without looking at manager exiting at the moment. Is there a hope that if he has retained support of some of the key players,
a lot? Huh? I wish it was a lot.
I wish we don't have a lot of key players, unfortunately. But if it is true that he's retained the support of some of the key players, if we can rely on them from now to the end of the season without the need for rotation with the European games out of the window, is there any hope in that sense we could maybe turn it around in terms of form?
Part of me is just kind of like, for what? If let's say it all goes well, as you say, the form turns around, we get into the top four. Mm-hmm. We know the fringe players, and there's even players in the first team, a lot of deadwood, which are simply not good enough. So you get into the Champions League next year, and for what? For what? Mourinho, I think even if we get top four, there's even a chance he might go in the summer. Who knows? If I don't know, for some reason, you were mentioning earlier, Man United, if something weird happens and fifth place is up for grabs, whatever, who knows? I'm not sure he's going to be here, because if Nagelsmann becomes available, that's kind of an opportunity that's too good to turn down for a team like Tottenham. And that's something I feel the club will go for, because it's cheap. It's a similar appointment to Pochettino many years ago now, and it's something they've been going for. And for what? Because the team's not good enough. We'll just get knocked out in the Champions League so quickly.
Yeah, but at least you get that Champions League revenue.
Well, the Champions League revenue, yeah, that can pay for Mourinho's sacking, isn't it? So
he's gonna bury his own grave and then lie in it, basically.
Exactly. Although I did see that we'd probably do what we're doing with Poch and pay off like a pay-as-you-go thing, where you pay every week. But I'm just really angry after last night. I mean, that Hugo Lloris interview was fascinating, to be honest. I think it was probably one of the most insightful interviews that have been at the club for many, many years. And I think will have ramifications for years to come. I'm sure the club were not happy at that interview whatsoever, because it has let them in. It's let us into the club more than the club like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I explained last night, that the club are very secretive, usually, of stuff going on behind the scenes. And I really wish that some journalists can do some journalism and actually find out what the hell is going on, because I've got no clue. No one's got any clue what's going on, and it's very concerning, because I want to know what's going on at the football club I love.
Yeah.
Do you think the Lloris interview was damning for Mourinho? That interview for Lloris?
I think it was more damning for the players at first glance, I think, because it was obvious he was calling out the players. He didn't really especially call out the manager per se. But if you then look at, okay, then why are the players acting like this? There are some historic reasons of that we've seen before Mourinho arrived. But also, he talked about the fringe players and players that Mourinho has sort of exiled and moving out the door, or trying to freeze them out, that just when are called upon, just aren't doing it, just aren't performing. And that's really, that it could be seen as a criticism of Mourinho's managerial style for sure. And look, no one here is saying Mourinho's done everything perfect, right? He has made a lot of mistakes. I've got a list up of games which have been it's been so up and down Mourinho's era. Chelsea 2-0, Norwich in the FA Cup, Leipzig, Everton at the beginning of the season, the Sheffield game, West Ham, Antwerp, Leicester. The list goes on and on of games which have been,
so many
games go on. So many games where the players either haven't turned up, or we've let a lead go in the final minute or whatever. It's too many to count.
But what I would say is, you could argue, and I would agree, that Mourinho has to do more to get these players on side and to do more when they're called upon. And the management, you can definitely say, has been a failing there. But, for example, when in Pochettino's second summer at the club, when he got rid of Soldado, Townsend, Paulinho, Capu, Stambouli, Chiriches, Holtby, Lennon, Kabul, Adebayor, Fazio, that's a long list of players he got rid of all in one window. What people didn't criticise Poch for saying he couldn't get these players on side. They said he was right to get rid of them. So can we not afford the same for Mourinho, or is it a different situation?
I think so. I think it's a different situation for two reasons. Number one, we don't live in that world anymore. We don't live in the world where people buy Deadwood because they can see potential, especially in COVID. Even beforehand, people were struggling. I mean, how long did it take for us to get rid of Vincent Janssen, for God's sake? It took ages for us to get rid of him. And he clearly did have some potential in him, but no one wanted him. But also, I think that the project that Mourinho was brought into, he was never going to be a long-term manager. It was get the most. We know this is a capable group of players, right? I mean, you've got some amazing players in the squad. Let's not kid ourselves, but they're underperforming, and that's the issue. And Mourinho never, only for brief moments, was able to get the best out of them. Whether or not that's completely his fault, that's debatable. And you can have that debate, but I think that there are times where I just think he's made a lot of errors with management. The Dele Alli situation sticks out as one of them massively. I mean, look, do you get rid of Dele Alli now? I don't. Looks like he's going to outlive Mourinho, which I don't think any of us would have really said a couple of months ago, which is quite funny actually, if you think about it. I just think that it's not looking good at the moment, and I'm just so waking up and then seeing, oh yay, Chelsea got Porto, Arsenal got an easy draw, and it's, oh no, could you imagine?
Just
both
don't,
of them.
Just don't, man.
I know.
Don't.
Could you imagine? It could get even worse. And we could have been there to stop Arsenal. That's the worst part.
I mean, I'm supporting Man United in the Europa League.
Oh, Man United all the way. Come on, you Reds. Yeah.
But yeah, anything to stop Arsenal winning it, I'll tell you that. Because literally, we'll never hear the end of it. We were odds-on favourites to win it yesterday.
Before the game. Oof,
yeah.
Jeez.
Painful.
Jeez. It's extremely painful. But I think there's just maybe end on a positive. I feel like this is very, very true in sport. And I do think you're never too far away from failure and never too far away from success. All it takes is a few little tweaks. And I think Man United's a good example of that. You bring in a few of the right players, and things can change for the better very, very quickly. Look at Man City. Beginning of this, I know Man City's oil rich, whatever, but at the beginning of the season, it was we beat them. People were saying it was looking pretty bad for them, and now they were considered probably the best team in Europe. So
I mean, the problem and the difference is that problems have been festering in this squad for many, many years now. It's not just like something the way you can just buy one player or just bring one player in and it's a quick fix. I personally believe this is going to take 3-4 years to fix.
And you may be right, but I still think the good times will come back to Tottenham. I am sure of that. That's probably not going to be with Mourinho or a lot of these players, or even Harry Kane. I do think Harry Kane's going to move on this summer, and potentially Son as well. But look, that is the consequences of our situation.
It's the consequences of Daniel Levy's investment since we needed that rebuild. That's what is the consequence of.
100%. I mean, that you go back to, was it the 2017 summer? I think it was the 2018 summer where we didn't buy a single player. And you think about that now, and it is criminal. It is absolutely criminal that we didn't invest at the proper time when we need to. I don't care that we're building a stadium because it is not my money. It is not my money, and we should have backed Pochettino at the time, 100%.
Score prediction this weekend, Alex?
Oh,
sorry to do it to you, Ran.
Don't even want to think about it, to be honest. Is Jack Grealish back for Villa?
Jack before said he hasn't been training, but it's still they're going to make a late fitness test.
Probably on the bench, you'd assume from that.
Yeah.
I think, you know what, I think it might be a draw, more of stop the rot, if that makes sense. But it's going to be one of the most interesting games for the past however many years in Tottenham's history, because whether the players will actually perform or not is going to say a hell of a lot about them. And obviously, I really hope they do. The team selection, especially, let's see who Mourinho picks. See if he picks the ones he relies on.
Do you reckon it'll be telling the team he picks this weekend?
Absolutely. And I think you're right. We should just see the best team week in, week out now, barring injuries. Absolutely, no excuses. Let us know who the bad eggs are. Why not? Exactly. He's probably gone in the summer. Let us know so we can know who needs to go and who needs to stay at this club. Because I am bloody sick of this now.
Yeah,
I'm sick of all the banter on Twitter now about it. It is really grinding me. And I've got 4 essays due next week, and I can't even work on any of them because I'm so annoyed. Oh, yeah.
All right, Alex. Well, you get over and write some essays, and we'll see you again on Sunday.
Thanks, guys.
Up the Spurs. Come on.
Up the Spurs.
We've got a super chat here from Todd K saying, "Did you see that article about you in the Daily Star?" No, I haven't.
I'm actually just looking at it right now.
Oh boy,
there is a whole article on us. Huh?
What? It's just me smashing a bottle. That's all the picture is.
So for some reason they didn't tag us in the article, but they did do an article on us. One sec.
A super chat here from Frank O saying, "What Tottenham player can be in a Man City team? PSG are not doing well, guys, so stop talking about Poch." What do you mean PSG aren't doing well?
Well, they're not top, are they?
They just knocked Barcelona out of the Champions League.
Yeah, I know, but they're not top.
They're not top?
No.
But they weren't top when Pochettino came in.
Tottenham fan channel's incredible strop on live stream while watching Zagreb embarrassment. Oh, fantastic. Thanks a lot for this, bloody Daily Star. Tottenham fans were left fuming by the capitulation of Jose Mourinho's flops against Zagreb in the Europa League, which has made for an incredible online strop from We Are Tottenham TV. We Are Tottenham TV's lost Spurs supporters launched into an incredible... It's called an incredible strop, apparently. Unbelievable strop. As they watched Jose Mourinho's men throw away a 2-goal advantage to get booted out Europa League. So we've made the news because we're unhappy with the loss, apparently.
Yeah.
Tottenham, breaking news, we're unhappy we gave away a 2-goal lead against Croatian
Breaking
Farmers.
news, Tottenham fans angry after throwing away a 2-0 lead and going out the Europa League to Dynamo Zagreb.
Breaking news. Tottenham look set to reach the quarterfinal, blah. Orsitz published his uninspired opponents with a memorable hat-trick. Brothers Ben and Simeon, who have built a large following on YouTube, were two of those who are left with nothing but anger following another cup exit from Mourinho. Shocker. With the pair were confident at the beginning of the fixture with a 2-goal advantage, they were left on the edge of their seats after Orsic grabbed the opening goal. While Ben and Simeon had their hands on their heads as they praised the striker, their attitudes changed for the worse when the tie was levelled on aggregate. Ben exclaimed, "F off, you pieces of shit." That's quite funny. Following the third goal, Spurs failed to score despite a period of pressure, with Ben then slamming his water bottle off the floor as the brothers ended the day in disarray. We Are Tottenham TV gained over 70,000 subscribers on YouTube since they started back in 2017 and told the BBC back in November, Simeon said, "We love the club so much, we are passionate about Tottenham and wanted to turn the passion into something," with Ben adding, "Our whole lives have been invested in the club." There was another Tottenham channel before they started. They stopped, so there was no Spurs fan voice at that point, somewhere for an authentic fans to voice their opinion. Simeon then spoke about the clip about Lanzini, blah, 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 and he said, "When a clip like Lanzini one goes viral, I personally have a bit of anxiety. Places like ESPN are tweeting at millions, everyone's having a bit of a joke. Definitely need thick skin, but when a week earlier we beat United 6-1 and we get 3 times the views on the channel that we did against West Ham, people only point to the moments when you're leaving yourself open to be ridiculed. But when things go well, they don't say that." All right, I don't know why they've made this into an article. But apparently it's newsworthy that we weren't happy about loss to Zagreb. Apparently we should have not reacted that way. Anyway.
How should we react?
I don't know. Not with an incredible strop.
I see.
Unbelievable strop.
So next time we go 2-0 up against Dynamo Zagreb in the first leg and lose 3-0 in the second leg, I'll just be like, "Oh, that's okay. Always next year."
Look, if you can't go mad when you've in that kind of game, when our most embarrassing result for probably over a decade, like, I don't know when you can go mad.
I think these kind of these media outlets mistake fan channels for like proper impartial media outlets. We've got a super chat here from Colin Lumsden saying, "Oh, I've just lost it." Says, "Stuff the media. You guys, like all fans, were upset." 100%.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole
Still
big thing. Is a bit. I don't understand why it needs to be.
To be honest, it was an incredible strop, and damnly right so. It was a fucking
should have been.
shite
It was an incredible
performance.
result. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I don't know why. I don't know why it has to be. Look, I don't. It's good, I guess. They wrote an article about us. I don't really care. It's just a bit odd. They've written like they think it's newsworthy that we weren't happy with Spurs yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a bit strange to have a whole article written about your reaction. Like,
I wonder if they wrote that
like
instead of writing about Hugo Lloris's interview.
Yeah, I know. It's like I can't see an article on Lloris's interview. It's strange. Anyway, it's
let's
what
get,
it is. But
let's
there you
get
go.
Luke,
Apparently,
let's get Luke on.
he's in a red shirt.
I am.
I'm not sure about that colour T-shirt, mate.
No, I know it's disgusting.
It is disgusting. Yeah. But how you doing, Luke?
Not great. No, last night was turned it off and then watched TV for a bit. And I said to my missus, I think that was my lowest point as a Spurs fan. Probably.
How long you been supporting Spurs?
Since I knew what football was. And
Well, there you go. Yeah.
It's been a while, but I think that was my lowest point. But other than me, obviously feeling like shit about it, I think my next thought was I did honestly feel sorry for Mourinho.
Yeah.
Because I think we have successfully broken Mourinho, which is quite difficult because he's always had so much confidence in his career. But I think we have completely broken him.
I think us breaking Mourinho is about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ahead of schedule.
Yeah, and I've seen so much stick online about Jose. Straight away, it was Jose out immediately, and there's a lot of arrogance, I think, in the fan base at the minute, which I got a bit of stick for saying on social media yesterday. People saying we don't belong where we are. We should be more than this. We are Tottenham. We should be Champions League, but we shouldn't be based on the investment. We're exactly where we should be.
You reckon?
With the amount that's been put into the team, we're exactly where we should be. With the squad we have now, when you look at when we were at our best under Poch, we had the best defensive partnership in the league in Toby and Jan in their prime. Dembele was just an absolute weapon. We haven't really replaced any of them. Rose and Walker, and then Trippier for the first kind of season that he replaced Walker fully. They were both lethal. And then we were left with Aurier, who is just a complete fuck up from the start. I think coming into the season, Jose would have made it quite clear that his two main priorities, which is what we could all see, was a decent holding midfielder that could protect and a centre back. And as soon as the transfer window ended without a quality centre back coming in, I just knew it was going to be difficult anyway. And personally, if I was Jose this morning, the first thing I would have done is gone into Levy's office and said, "You saw the shit I saw last night. Are you actually going to give me the ability to replace 5 or 6 players next season? Because if not, I'll resign now. Because there's no point."
All right, Luke. Unfortunately, we can't really hear you properly, but do you want to give your prediction quickly for Sunday?
We'll struggle, concede late, and then pile the pressure on and end up with nothing. Because that's just the way this season.
Sounds like Tottenham.
1-0 Villa.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All
hopefully
right,
we'll get to hear from you after the game, Luke. But thanks for coming on.
Cheers for coming on, Luke. Good to speak to you, mate.
Cheers.
Got a super chat here from Wayne Winter saying, "Free publicity, boys. The channel is awesome."
Thank you, man. I do appreciate that support. And yeah, look, I don't care. You can write an article if you want, and it is free publicity. It's a good thing, but it's just a bit weird. I find it weird that Spurs fans unhappy with the result is news. But anyway,
like that Sabalos TV said about Troops. Take that free clout.
Yeah,
take that free clout. Let's get Marcelo on. Come on. Yes, Marcelo.
How are we doing?
No scarves.
Marcelo, we want some hyping today, man. Please, we're dying for it.
Hype Nagelsmann if you want to.
Listen, I can only hype.
Nagelsmann gonna win it all next year.
No. Listen, whether I made it clear I don't think it's gonna work with Jose, but I'm not gonna go talking about Nagelsmann or other managers. He's still here. I still gotta support the club. I'm not going to support this team because screw those players. None of them apologize. First off, before we get into Jose, these players are the biggest scum slybags I've ever seen in my life, bro. How dare you not apologize for that performance? Now, of course, Hugo came out and apologized, and, Jose came out and apologized. So, I'm not saying that to them, but to whoever didn't come out and apologize after a performance like that, you don't care about the club. And I am going to say to Kane, and to those guys, I love Kane, but how do you not apologize for that type of performance, man? Look at Saka. Look at Gabriel, you know, and Arsenal. They came out with apologies after some woeful performance. And then this one was not even close. This is shocking, bro. This, you know what this was like? This reminded me of I think what was it, the 5-1 against Newcastle, right? That one was bad, but at least that season was somewhat bearable. You know what I mean? Obviously, we lost it to Leicester. You know, we also, I think that was we lost to Chelsea and everything. Well, not lost, but, you know, drew. But you know, it felt like a loss. So, you know, there was some downs that season, but you know, we were also challenging. That was at least a good season, bro. You know what I mean? As a first Spurs fan. But this season has been shocking. It's been some shocking performances after performances. And not one apology from these players. Not one single I'm sorry. I'm sorry for letting you down. I'm sorry for just being a shit turd. You know what I mean? Just going in there, just not doing anything. You know what I mean? Not caring. You know, a little bit of pride and passion, man. Doesn't cost a lot. A little bit of humility doesn't cost a lot, man. You know, but you know, I can accept this as a defeat as Spurs fan. You know, like I'm used to being let down, but you know, it's how the manner
Marcelo, Marcelo,
I
I got a question for you. We just got a super chat saying from Colin Lunsman saying, "I hope Marcelo and David have made up." Can you fill us in?
No,
Can you fill us in on what's happened?
No, look, David is still Jose.
Get David on. Get David on.
No, yeah, David
is David there in the
not here.
background?
Listen, you know, we talked about it. You know, I wasn't wrong in some parts. You know, I interrupted him, but you know, we had a little bit of discussion and happened. You know, we were in the heat of the moment, and I basically said, "Look, man, I can't take this no more. I just don't see this working out. So I think Jose has got to go." And you know. He's obviously still Jose N, which I respect, man. If you're Jose N, I respect that. I can see both sides of the table. But you know what? For me, let me explain to you the reason why I think Jose just has to go. It's because this board will never match his ambition. It's not the reason why I think Jose just has to go is because it's not me questioning him as a manager. It's me questioning whether this board can give him the tools that he wants. Like, I don't want an Allegri after Jose goes. You know why I don't want an Allegri? Because Allegri is going to ask for top players. He's going to be asking for, like, the Ronaldo. He's like, hold on a second. I'm used to Juventus. I'm used to having, like, you know, Chiellini, Bonucci, all these great, you know, great players. I can't work with this. This is not what I'm used to, right? And so he's going to ask for quality, and we will never match that. This board will never match it. So we need a young manager that just is flexible, that is willing to work with Levy like a Pochettino, and is just willing to just do whatever it takes, man, to get the job done.
Who's your man? Assuming Jose does go before beginning of next season, who would you want?
You know, all respect to Jose. I still want to be respectful to the manager. He's still our manager. But, you know, for me, I always said it. I think a Ten Hag. Maybe, I know you guys are a big fan of Nagelsmann.
Would you take a Scott Parker?
Bro, I mean, honestly, for me, whoever we get won't change much, but we just need someone that's flexible. You know, just someone that's flexible and is willing to work with some youth players, willing to just try to get the best of what he got. You know what I mean? Like, there's no point in getting a top-class manager. There really isn't, because we will not match the quality that he requires.
We may as well hire Mamich from jail. You know what I mean? Because the player's just going to do what the fuck they want anyway.
Yeah, no, but look, listen. I'm not trying to sound like the press. It's just a matter of truth. Man. It's just like you got to look at the facts, and it's just going to be better for Tottenham Hotspurs. I always said it. I'm not Jose sexual, not Poch sexual. I think, you know, sacking Poch was the right thing, because he was also like the thing I'm looking at Jose. I'm looking at Pochman. He's a guy that's been mentally broken by this board. He has been mentally broken by this board, the club, and the group of players. And I just don't see a way of return. Like, you don't understand how much I wish I'm wrong in not saying that. You know, I got a lot of Jose outers, you know, before who I discussed with. They're like, oh, yeah, you got pie in your face. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. But I'm like, bro, I gave this guy a chance to, you know, fail or succeed. You know, like I was trying to give him a chance to, you know, to succeed. And it's just like, when I saw it, just like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you know, lie about how I feel and what I think is going to happen just so I can look right, or I can just, you know, stick my point. Like, I'm not going to be arrogant. You know what I mean? I can admit when I was wrong. I thought maybe it could work out with Jose, but just clearly didn't happen, man. It's almost like, like you go out with the girl, but for some reason there's just not a connection. Like there's just not, and that's what Jose with this club. I still think he's a great manager. I still think if he goes to a top club, he gets success. A club that can give him the tools and the minerals for him to work with, he'll still have success. But the issue is we're not that club, and I just realized that, man. And it's just like it's just not gonna work out. Levy and Jose just won't work out. It's a sad truth. And if you could ask me, right, keep Jose and sack Enoch, if you gave me that choice, I would sack Enoch this exact moment, bro. I would keep Jose and sack Enoch, but that's just not the reality. It's not reality.
Let's say, for argument's sake, Jose stays on and they get the defensive reinforcements that we want. Only the defensive reinforcements. Is that enough to push us on to do what we want to do?
Yeah, it could, man. But like, will we get it? You know what I mean? Like,
No, I'm just saying, for argument's sake, let's say we do get it. Is that enough for Jose to kick on?
It could be. Yeah, I think. Honestly, I think we could. Like, if we back Jose properly, and and we give him a chance, he could definitely have success in this club. But the issue, like, but that's, for me, that's just not realistic. Just looking at the way how things are going, just not, how it looks. I think it's too far, too little, too late. I think when a board leader, like Levy, or like a chairman like Levy starts talking with other managers, there's rumors like that coming out. You see performances like in Arsenal and Dynamo, where it's just disgraceful, man. Like, this is, like, honestly, it's disgraceful, man. Like, it's really disgraceful, and it's gotten to a point where I don't think, like, I just think he's defeated, man, and rightfully so. And like, I feel bad for him, bro. Like, I'm calling for, like, I'm calling for his head, but it's not because like I hate him, or like I think he's a terrible manager. I just feel bad for the guy, man. Just looking at the way he is, like, we mentally broke this guy. We, like, Tottenham Hotspurs somehow skipped, Jose Mourinho to season 3. You know what I mean? Like, we're the only club to do that in 1 year. We mentally broke one of the greatest managers in 1 year. I'm more embarrassed. You know what I mean? For me, I'm more embarrassed of being a Tottenham fan right now. I really am, bro. Because, like, we got a guy that was, very special, and we just ruined him. And it's not his fault. I don't think it is his fault. I think it's the board, and I think it's a lot of these players. But the issue is, what Jose is, when it gets worse, it doesn't get better as well. And I still think, he does have partially to blame for some of his errors. I think losing the dressing room that early, I mean, come on. Like, I understand with Pochettino, you got to understand that was 5 years of accumulation of getting stale. You know what I mean? Like, he lost his dressing room in the first year. Now, of course, these players are toxic, but there's also, some players which I think he could have done maybe a better job with. But, man, like, honestly, if you were to ask me, how do we solve this issue? I couldn't even tell you, bro. That's $1 million question. Whoever solves Tottenham Hotspurs, I don't even know if the next manager will succeed. I don't even know if, honestly, I am so lost. I don't even know if we should sack Jose, whether it would do anything. I don't know, man. Like, honestly, I don't even know what's gonna happen, because it's just like, we are such in a mess that, honestly, whoever has the answers, you're gonna have $1 million, because whoever can fix this thing, whoever comes in and fix this thing, man. He needs to be a saint. He needs to be like a Pochettino. He needs to turn water into wine, because you got to remember, when Pochettino was still getting these players to play for him, in the Champions League season, we beat Dortmund, with Sissoko, Winks, and Aurier, and some of those same guys. So, maybe if we can get someone that can still get a tune out of these players, but it's just like.
But Marcelo, everyone knows these players can play in a one-off game. You know what I mean? A one-off game, these players can play, but they just can't do it consistently, game after game after game.
I agree. No, I agree. And I would love to give Jose time. I love to give him more years, but I just don't see it happening, bro. Don't see it happening. Don't see it happening with this board. I just don't see us matching his ambition. I just don't see us. So, like, I just don't see it working out. So that's why I'm Jose out. Not the manager. It's just us. It's really just us, bro. Like that's how I see it. And you know, although it's unfair to Jose, you know, sometimes life is just like that, man. Life is unfair and a cruel mistress, you know.
Well,
Like,
if anyone watching knows how to fix this current situation we're in, if you've got the right solution, Marcelo has £1 million for you waiting. So
I know, no, I know.
All right, get Tori on the phone.
But you know, lads, look, it's a tough time, you know, to be a Spurs fan. You know, this for me is one of the hardest moments I've had. You know,
well, you never had to sit through Jerry Francis, Christian Gross, and George Graham, and those guys.
Yeah, so maybe you guys are a little bit more experienced to it. You know, I mean, AVP era was pretty bad, but nah, man, it's never been as bad as this. Never been as toxic, at least, as this. You know, the atmosphere is so, from the fan base, from the players, it's just so toxic, and I'm really kind of starting to feel it, man. You know, like I'm usually like a happy-go-lucky guy trying to look at the positives. You know, normally I'll still be saying, "Come on, guys, we still can get top 4. We can still do this, still win the League Cup." But bro, like, even that atmosphere has brought me down. You know, like it's bringing me down as well. So it's tough, man. It's tough. But you know, on to Villa. I'll never predict my team to lose.
What are you predicting?
I'm not predicting us to win either. I'm going for a 1-1 draw.
1-1.
Yeah, yeah,
about
but
right.
Come on, you Spurs.
Nice one.
Hopefully they prove me wrong. Don't think they will. They never do. So it is what it is. Love you guys.
Tottenham till we die. Come on.
Tottenham till we die. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on. Got a super chat here from Jordan Stevens. Says it was nothing more than passion from 2 Spurs fans who wear their heart on their sleeves. Disagreements will happen, but we want the best for Spurs.
Awesome All also says, I believe in Jose's tough love. If Jose was with Burnley and Kane was 9, the score will be 10-0. Burnley play with passion and I don't give up. I know Burnley go play with passion and don't give up. I'm not sure what if Jose was with Burnley and Kane was 9, the score will be 10-0. I'm not sure what that means. Wayne Wind says Sim Ben to joint manager with David and Marcelo assistants. You on that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm game.
Not with this squad, actually.
Huh?
Not with this squad.
And Mike Lee says, I feel Jose is the only thing keeping Kane and Son.
See, not even I would take this job at the moment. It's a poison chalice.
Absolute poison chalice. All right.
All right, let's keep going. Who's next? Charlie?
Charlie there? Oh, he's there?
I can't. Oh, 1 second, Charlie. 1 sec. Oh, there we go. Yes, Charlie.
Hello?
Charlie. How's it going, man?
If I'm completely honest, not good. I went to bed at like 3 a.m. because I'm quite frankly gutted and just completely disconnected. But yeah, how are you guys doing?
Yeah, you know, we're all in the same boat at the moment. Let's be honest. But what's your kind of feelings on the manager, on the squad, and the whole situation at the moment?
So, as we've known for a long time, this has been bubbling under the surface for ages, and it actually came to fruition a while ago now, probably about a year ago, at the beginning of last season, because these players, man, as Marcelo said, screw all these players. They're continuously letting this club down. They have a mentality which not even I thought was that weak. I knew it was weak, but come on, this level about what happened yesterday. I knew it was weak, but that is just that for me is undescribable. That was a whole new level of a weak mentality. It was an absolute joke. And as we know, the whole of the starting 11 yesterday were here under Poch, and a lot of the players there were players that down tools under Poch. And I'm quite frankly gutted mostly because we're out Europa League, and Europa League was something that I was clinging on to this season. That was the hope that I had this season because I really, really wanted to win this trophy. I was desperate for us to win it. It was something that I looked at when we got into it last season. I was like, right, I want to see us go for that. I want to see us go all the way. But we've just chucked it away like that yesterday. And the players, the manager, the board, as we all know, have to take responsibility for the situation we're in. And quite frankly, I don't really know where we go from here. In terms of the manager, I've backed Jose all the way since day one. I've said I've seen these fans saying some fans have wanted him gone since the day he got here. I've given him a chance. I gave him a chance the day he got here. I was like, give the guy a chance, and I've done that. But it's got to a point now where I'm asking more and more questions of the manager game by game at the moment, because you saw one thing that stood out to me yesterday, which I think not a lot of people have noticed, is that on the touchline yesterday, he was standing there just with his hands in his pockets like a muppet, just doing nothing, not barking orders, not getting into the players, just standing there like a muppet, doing nothing. And that's something that really just says to me that he's a broken man. And you could see it in his press conference after that. He is a dead man walking. And my personal opinion is I believe after what we saw yesterday and the fact we're out Europa League and where we are in the league, I believe Jose Mourinho will be sacked. I'm not sure when that is, whether that's now or come the end of the season, but I do believe he will be sacked. And for me, as I said, I've turned on Jose a bit more. These after yesterday, I think I've turned on him. I was saying last night that he has to go, and that's not because he's a bad manager. That's because I feel like he's a manager that just cannot succeed under this board. I feel the only hope we've got under this board is to get a manager like Poch that can work miracles with players that basically turn water into wine. Basically, that I just feel that's the only hope we've got at any success under this board, because a manager like Jose needs money. He needs backing. He needs to get his players in to win trophies, and it's proven that it's worked. However, unfortunately, I've just come to a point now where we just kind of have to accept that this board, this board just aren't that club. We're not going to be that club that's going to throw money at a project like someone like a Mourinho. We're not going to throw money at it by getting him all the best players, spending over 200 million, whatever he has done at other clubs. I'm really struggling to see us doing that. Especially we're hearing all these ridiculous reports saying like as I said the other day, we were hearing that we have to sell players to buy players. Well, at the end of the day, I'm fine with that. I'm completely fine with that. But the issue I've got is we can't sell these players. We can never sell these players. How long did it take to get rid of Janssen? How long did it take to get rid of some other players, which I can't think of at the moment? Because at the end of the day, I'm more than happy to do that. I'm more than happy to make sure we sell players before we get players in. I'm happy to do that. But the trouble is, we can't sell these players. Who's going to buy this utter garbage that's in our squad? You look at the likes of, like I was hearing as well, Sissoko is apparently a big influence on the dressing room. When that's the case, you know you're in trouble. You really do. When a player like Sissoko...
Right, you saw Jose Mourinho's reaction to that in the documentary.
I did, in the documentary, him and Sacramento, exactly. And when you've got, by the way, our captain yesterday, coming out and saying what he said, fair play to him, because that's what I've been saying for ages now. The problems in this club is literally rotten from top to bottom, and I just the trouble that I'm having is I can't see a process. I can't see a direction that the club's going in, and that's the thing that's the most difficult thing to take. That I just don't think we're going anywhere for as long as these players are here. And at the end of the day, if you're going to look at it. If you're gonna have any kind of hope, I guess the thing you have to look at is that no matter what happens, Tottenham will go on without these guys. Seriously, the club will still be here. You guys will still be here. I'll still be here without these players, because eventually, no matter how long that will be, eventually they will be gone. And for me, that's the only thing I'm clinging on to at the moment. That eventually, whether that's in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, whatever, eventually they'll all be gone. And I'm struggling. I really am struggling to see what's going to happen. And as I said to you guys, whether I like it or not, whether you guys like it or not, I believe Mourinho will be sacked, and that's just how I see it anyway.
In terms of this article that's come out today from the Telegraph, one of the paragraphs says Mourinho retains the support of some of Tottenham's key players, but others are understood to question his training methods and his handling of various situations. Do you think the fact that he does retain the support of some key players, do you reckon that means that from now to the end of the season, if we do keep a core together of first teamers who do believe in Mourinho, and we don't have that rotation issue of playing 2 games every week like we've had for pretty much the whole season, meaning we can concentrate on 1 game a week, is there any hope that those core group of players could drag us to top 4 from now to the end of the season?
It's difficult to say, because at the end of the day, what if we get an injury? What happens then? What if we get an injury? We've seen what happens when that happens. We crumble, we capitulate, and that's exactly what happened yesterday. We lose the Arsenal game, and I said after the Arsenal game that I'm worried that we're going to go on an awful run again, where we lose 2 or 3 games in a row, like we did last time back in December when we lost to Liverpool, we lose to Leicester, and we drop a load of points as well. And I expected us to get through yesterday. I was, however, still worried we'd go on a bad run in the league, but I expected us to get through today with a 2-goal lead. But for those players to have the audacity to do that, it quite frankly is it's a disgrace. It's pathetic, and as I said, they just need to take responsibility. But in answer to your question, if we can keep everyone fit, unfortunately, I don't think I can see us getting top 4, and that's because you've still got the bad eggs there in the squad, on the bench, in the dressing room, having a bad influence on sort of the key players and stuff, having a bad just releasing what you call sort of a rotten smell, if you know what I mean. Just releasing a bad smell within the dressing room, and that could affect the key players. You never know, and that's why I fear for the rest of the season, because I feel we're going to capitulate against Villa. I feel we're probably going to capitulate in the last big games we have this season, against the likes of Leicester on the last day, Everton coming up, Man United coming up. The honest truth is, I don't expect anything different from this group of players. It's got to a point now where I expect us to capitulate after 1 bad result, and that's the most heartbreaking thing for me, because we should, as a fan, it's never right to sort of expect your team to just capitulate after 1 bad result. You expect us to just put it in the box, put it behind us, and get our heads up and go again. But clearly yesterday, that shows that these guys, one bad thing can happen and it just completely shatters it. Like you saw, I'll give you an example when this has happened many times before. Last season, I remember I can't remember which game it was. You guys might be able to tell me, but we had some VAR decision, it was a potential penalty check where it didn't go away, and it was actually the correct decision. I remember it was never a penalty, but they checked it, and that game, because I remember it was quite early on. We started off quite well, and then when that VAR decision happened, which by the way was the correct decision, we crumble after that and we end up losing. I'm not sure. Do you guys remember which game that is? Because I know it definitely happened last season.
Last season?
Yeah, last season.
When what happened? Sorry.
Are you maybe talking about the Bournemouth game when we drew 0-0 potentially?
Yeah.
What, when we got 2 sendings off?
No, he's talking about last season.
When what happened? Sorry.
We had a penalty VAR which didn't go our way, and then we
Sheffield
didn't.
United,
we crumbled.
wasn't it? No, Sheffield United was the goal.
That's another example of it. Example of it, the Sheffield United one. Because there's more. That I was just using one example, which I just can't remember which game it's from. But that's another one you said there. The Bournemouth game is a perfect example of that. Inside 5 minutes, that one probably was a penalty at the end of the day. But still, we never picked ourselves up from that, and we capitulated. And that's the thing in this squad. You saw, I knew yesterday when they scored, I was shitting it. I really was. I knew that we were going to capitulate, especially when it went to extra time. I knew we'd lost. I just knew it. I knew we were going to lose, because on the night, at the end of the day, there was one team that deserved to go through, and that was Dinamo Zagreb. And I said before, I warned everyone about Orsic. I said Orsic was a good player. Before, and even I never expected him to do that to us, and that was completely and utterly destroy us and rip us to shreds, which even that was a shock to me. But I want to ask you guys a question as well. Like, how long do you think this is going to take to repair? Because we've been in this
3-4 years.
3-4 years.
I think so.
It's difficult, and that's why I'm saying I've come to a conclusion now that Mourinho might have to go, because I feel like our only hope now is to get in a manager that could possibly produce a miracle and sort of give us a process that we can sort of trust and just give us something to cling on to, give us something where we can hope, because at the moment there just seems to be no hope. I feel, as I was talking about Mourinho earlier, I feel he looks like he's given up. Because I said I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but on the touchline yesterday, he was standing there with his hands in his pockets, just literally like a muppet, not barking orders, not because you saw on Tuesday, I think it was, or Wednesday, Simeone from Atletico, they were losing to Chelsea. Of course, they went out, but you saw Simeone barking orders left, right, and centre. And yes, at the end of the day, that didn't work, but at least he was trying to get a message across, and you could see he was showing his emotion during the game. And that's something that I think Jose lacked yesterday. I think he should have been doing more. And he should have made a change at half-time. I said at half-time he needs to bring on Lo Celso. He's kept on Sissoko and Winks. As soon as I saw the lineup, I said that I expect us to go through, but I said that if we're going to mess this up, we know exactly what the problem's going to be. And it was the midfield again. And you could see that, you could just see as well the body language in just the way we were playing yesterday. We couldn't complete a 2-yard pass. We couldn't cross the ball. We couldn't create any kind of opportunities. And as I said, we were walking around. And for me, that's the most concerning thing. When a dressing room's gone, it's unfortunately, it's looking like curtains from any manager. And I struggle to see a direction that we're going in. I struggle to see a process that we can trust in. And for me, that's the most painful thing.
Looking at the game this weekend, what's your score prediction?
Oh God. If I'm gonna be completely honest with this, right? I said a minute ago that we're going to capitulate, and I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. But unfortunately, I've been proved right, and I really, really hope I am proved wrong. But unfortunately, I don't see it. So this might sound extreme, but I'm going to go 3-0 to Aston Villa, because we saw what happened last time we had a bad defeat in Europe. Bayern Munich 7-2. What did we do the next Premier League game? 3-0 at Brighton. We absolutely capitulate. So I hope I'm wrong, but that's what I'm going to go with again. I'm going to go for a 3-0 defeat.
All right, Charlie, thanks for coming on, man.
Nice one, Charlie.
Cheers, guys.
All right, who we got next? Tatenda. How you doing, Tatenda?
I'm not fine. It's really hard sometimes supporting Tottenham.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about it. But run me through your thoughts. We've still got quite a few callers to get through, but run me through your thoughts.
This club won't be fixed in the next 4 or 5 years. I just don't see it. The money, the investment, even Jose said himself, like the likes of Davinson, 42 million for Davinson Sanchez. 42. How much did Inter even buy Skriniar? Like that's something, but we managed to pay 42 million for Davinson Sanchez. We paid 30 million for Sissoko. At the end of the day, we are where we belong. These are the consequences of some horrible decision making. This is I expected Jose to do something this season. No, next season I was okay if he got sacked, because his second season is his prime. And if Jose can't get these club trophies in second season, who can? No one can. These players are just done. We buy people like Lucas Moura and Aurier, who are practically reserves at PSG, reserves. Aurier was practically cast out before he came because of those same errors he makes. But somehow we made the decision to buy him, which tells me that the scouting was one of the problems. Look at Paul Mitchell at Leipzig. Look at the players at Leipzig and look at the players we have. And look at the money Leipzig has spent and the money we've spent. Can you say there's a big difference there? But the big difference is when you see the players that they put on the pitch. The fact they beat us last year, I think it was 3-0 in the Champions League. And it's like, Daniel Levy seems like he wants to make something happen at this club. He does, but the thing is the owner of the club. Whenever I see any article about him, it's always something like, I want the club to be self-sufficient, not I'm going to invest or I want the club to win trophies. It's always, I want the club to be self-sufficient. Even just, I think he's been paying the wages shortly. I read somewhere. And the first thing he said was, I just want the club to be self-sufficient. This man, he just wants to reap profit. And the thing is, if the man on top doesn't care, as much as Mourinho can aim for trophies, the man on top just wants the profit. So how do you expect the fourth man in power to control the club? Because this These days, players have a lot of power. Players cost your jobs. Look at clubs like Chelsea, where managers leave before they even reach 100 games all the time. And us, they think replacing these players is going to be hard. Getting rid of them. I don't see many teams giving us what we want for them. Even Harry Winks in January. How much did we expect from Valencia? I think it was around 35 million. Valencia weren't willing to pay the amount. No one will pay 35 million for Harry Winks. No one. When Inter bought Nico, I think Barella for 28 million, who would pay 35 million for Harry Winks? The thing is, the best chance we have, as much as I hate to say it, is selling Kane and Son, because they're the only players who have any real value at our club and can give us money to boost this squad. Because even then, when you look at from their perspective of their careers, I'm at Tottenham. I'm 28. I've been here. I've been in the first team since almost 2015 as a regular. I have so many individual awards, but how come I'm still trophyless? Ken doesn't want to be remembered as a Tottenham legend. He wants to be remembered as a real legend throughout the world, not just mentioned once in a while. Ken and Son have been the best duo in Premier League history. I think they overtook Shearer and some other guy. Best duo, but they're trophyless. Where are they? They're 7th or 8th. Why? Because people like Eric Dyer, Lucas Moura, they don't give their hearts. Sometimes, as a player, quality doesn't determine who you are. It's mentality. Mentality is to face your problems. Mentality is to give 100% even when you know it's not working. Maybe has had a few recent bad matches, but you see, he's trying to make something happen. Some of these players, they don't even want the ball. I'm like, you're a Premier League player, you're paid millions, and you don't want the ball. You can't even at least just dribble past one person. At 30-something years, when someone at 12 or 13 at my school is doing that like it's a joke. Just get shocked sometimes. People make soccer look so easy.
Tatenda, is Jose Mourinho the man to take us through this rebuild?
Jose is broken. We all know it. He was walking with his hands in his pocket. I only saw that one other time, and that was the time before. I think he went to the Old Trafford stand after the game and was like, I have won 2 Premier Leagues.
Yeah.
Something like that. So he's done. He's done. If we broke him in second season, he's done. Because when he came to the club, I was like, if he gets us a trophy, I'll be happy. Just the League Cup. If he gets us the League Cup, which is highly unlikely with the players Man City have got and the players we have got.
Yeah.
I
mean, moving on to the game this weekend, can you tell me any sort of positive, anything positive that we can take out of this game this weekend?
We don't have the mentality for that. We just don't. We've never had it in us. Even the Champions League final. That performance was shocking. I've watched 4 Champions League finals, and that was the worst final I've ever watched. Liverpool were just so comfortable. They were just sitting back, relaxed. I think they played the 4-3-3, just so comfortable. So much of that match. And I was like, these guys, what are they doing in a Champions League final to play like this? We always bottle it. Every time we're so close. We're this close. As a fan of Tottenham, ending up with negative mentality is so easy. You're like, oh, we've reached the semi-final. We're second in the Premier League. We'll just bottle it. Even other teams. Kieleni, the other time when we played Juventus, he was like, Tottenham can score, they can do their best, but when it's time to reach the end, they always bottle it. After we lost 4-3 on aggregate, I think it was Paulo Dybala who ran through Davis and Sanchez. But the thing is, this team is done. We're going to be stuck with it for the next 2 years.
This team will be the end of all of us, let's be honest. But what's your score prediction going into the game? What are you predicting this weekend?
2-0.
2-0?
Yeah,
to Spurs, right?
Losing.
Oh, God.
We never get the results we need. We never have.
When we special, we need it.
Tatenda, thank you so much for coming on, man. And
great call.
Yeah, great call. And hope to hear from you after the game this weekend.
Yeah, bye.
See you later, man.
Good to see you, Tatenda. Paul Rigby says, this club has given Kane and the rest of his team enough opportunities to achieve their ambitions, but they blow it every time. Look, I think Kane's been let down by the rest of the team, in all honesty, by most of that. I don't think a lot of the time it's down to Kane.
Let's get Amir on.
Amir,
how you doing, my friend?
Seen better days, lad. Seen better days.
Yeah, tell me about it. But how do you assess the whole situation at the moment?
It's very difficult to dissect. You know, the blame lies with both the manager and the players, so it's kind of difficult to dissect. But I think we're at a crossroads, lads, where we need to decide what to do. You know, and I'd say Jose is probably going to be given till the end of the season. You know, the cup final, and to see if he can somehow sneak into the top four.
Do you think that saves his job, top four?
It's not enough, to be honest.
You don't think it's enough?
It's not enough. No, of course it's not enough. It was, you know, we were a top four club. We were getting that every year, year in, year out. He came here to win trophies. So if he doesn't really pick up a trophy, I would say that's not, he hasn't, you know, delivered.
What if he wins a Carabao Cup and finishes 6th or 7th?
Still not good enough because he's expected to get the Champions League.
So he needs to get both. He needs to get both to save his job, you reckon?
100%, 100%. It's either beat City, give the club a bit of a push, maybe get a few of the younger guys on there. If these guys, you know, the dead weight in our club aren't pulling weight, then give some of these youngsters a chance to show what they can do. That they're going to be the future of the club.
Do you personally want to see Mourinho stay or go?
It's a really difficult question, lads, and I can't, you know, I can't really answer that now. I'd have to wait and see how we're doing towards the end of the season with the last few games to go, and then I'd be able to answer that, because I don't want to make a, you know, jump to any conclusions now just after a terrible loss.
Sure. And when you're looking at the game this weekend, do you have any sort of positive mentality coming into it? Any sort of confidence?
I mean, confidence, definitely not. You know, could we sneak a win? You never know. If he gets in some of these younger guys, I want to see Tanganga or Rodon given a chance, even play Scarlett down the wing instead of some of these guys who are knackered. Just go for it. Just go out and play and try and win the game. Don't do what we did last night, because it was horrific. It really was horrific.
Is there any hope, Amir, that if we do stick to a core group of players who are trusting of Mourinho, which apparently that's what the sources are saying, that he retained support of a lot of the key players, but other players are understood to be questioning his methods. Do you think if we do stick to them from now to the end of the season with not that much of a need to rotate, we could maybe scrape into the top four? Is that a possibility for you?
It is a possibility, but they're going to have to change their mentality, and these guys that are bringing the club down are going to have to sit on the bench and plan their futures after their time at Spurs, because it's just not good enough. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, one of the things here that was mentioned, I think, before, but we as fans need to think about it, and management and Levy definitely need to be aware of it, because Kane and Son, if we don't get Champions League, they're gone, you know? They will be gone, guys. I mean, they're not going to hang around and wait for trophies, this and that, the other. So we really need to have a sit down and think how we're getting out of this terrible situation that we're finding ourselves in, really, lads.
And back on the game this weekend, what's your score prediction?
I'll go with 1-1 draw.
1-1.
A bit of a ball fest, I think. Defensive again, you know, backwards football, sideways football. That's not the Tottenham way, lads. You know, I remember seeing Ginola, Klinsmann, these guys, you know, they would excite you. Stephen Carr running down the wing. You know, we had spark. We had Robbie Keane.
Having said that, the last two managers that have won us trophies, 2008 and 1999, both defensive football managers, Juan de Ramos and George Graham.
You're 100% right. You're 100. But what's a Carabao Cup now, lads? Come on, you know, we used to be at the pinnacle of European football, guys. You know, if some of the fans going back, they can remember those happy days. That's where we need to be. We need to be fighting for the title. We need to be fighting on all accounts in Europe, getting to semi-finals, finals, winning things. It's just not good enough. A Carabao Cup every decade, lads.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you. Amir, thank you so much for coming on, my friend.
Cheers, guys. Up the Spurs, come on.
Up the Spurs, come on. Tottenham till we die. All right, let's get the Kingsley Meister on. Come on, mate. Come on, DK. DK, what's going on, man?
Oh, is he on mute?
There you go. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Kingsley.
How are you, boys? You
Yeah,
okay?
all good. How you doing, mate? Long time no see.
Yeah, been a while.
I got rinsed from your uncle today.
It doesn't surprise me. I think it is getting it. I've been getting a lot of it in the last week or so. It's been very painful.
Tell me about it.
How do you assess someone that was very, very, very pro Jose before he came in? What do you make out of the whole thing? Out of the whole situation at the moment?
It's tough. I feel like there's a certain amount of players which we've had for a number of years who are well past their sell-by date at our club. Should have gone a very long time ago and should have been replaced with better players or other players who who sort of care. I think that Jose inherited a damaged squad with players in it that really are not fussed if we win or lose certain games.
What are you doing with your hands over there, Kingsley?
Oh, I got my little thing. Certain players will just be happy to collect their paycheck on Saturday and then go to Villa and then put in a 0 out of 10 again, and we'll get done 3-0 as usual or whatever.
What's the way out of this? What's the way out of this situation we're in?
Well, the way out is a long way out, but I think we all know that with the way out is to change from the board downwards. It's just sort that bit out, and then we can go from there. And the reality is that they're not going to sell at the moment, or whatever, or the fans need to try and convince them to sell. Because I honestly don't see a change with Daniel Levy running the club, running the transfers, running who stay, who can play football for us and who can't. Because Daniel Levy's just not a football man; he's a businessman, and he's in charge of everything, transfer wise, and the players that come and go, and the prices, and he understands the business side of football, but he doesn't understand, the playing side, and that's kind of got to an extent now when we're having, some of these players have been with us for 5 odd years who we all know as fans just are not good enough, to be at a level that we want to compete at. But Daniel Levy or whoever else seems to think that they are, and it's getting very, very repetitive now, and I'm starting to, get very, very frustrated with it all.
Yeah. In terms of the rumours coming out today about Mourinho, he needs top 4 to keep his job, and other rumours saying a section of the playing staff are questioning his methods, and they're questioning his handling of certain situations. But also on the flip side, also in the article, they're saying he still retains support of a few key players in the squad. What do you make out of those reports, and what do you take from that?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that he gets support out of some players, because some players they're professionals, they're you have Kane, who's a professional, and Son, who's also a professional. And then you get players like Dele Alli and, Harry Winks, who seem to think that they warrant a place in the side. But what are players like that? What have they done to be in the starting 11 each week? You see Dele throwing his toys at the pram when Jose drops them and stuff. What's he done to start in this team? Harry Winks as well. You remember he came out and said, I want to be starting and this and that.
Yeah.
What's he done to warrant a start in this team? Like, who are they to say, like, I should be playing here and there? You listen to the manager. He's the one in charge of you, and you go with his methods. And to start, like, after a few games of being dropped to giving your opinion to the manager and then start putting in 0 out of 10s, it kind of shows who is, like, a professional footballer and who just kind of is just there and just wants to play even if they're not doing well and stuff. It's a tough situation. I feel like half the squad are there because they want to be there, and half the squad are there to collect their paychecks, and we need to get rid of those players that want their paychecks. Otherwise we are never going to progress, like, ever.
Do you think Jose is going to ultimately pay the buck for this, and do you reckon he'll be here next season?
Yeah, it'll be the same. It will be the same as Pochettino. It's the same players that throw Pochettino under the bus. Pochettino, all right, it may or may not have been the right time to go. Everyone has the debate, but the same players. It's Dyer Dyer, Sanchez, Aurier, Winks. It's Sissoko. It's the same players throwing another quality manager under the bus, and you know, realistically, you're not going to get rid of 11 players or whatever mid-season. That one person will always get the stick, and one person will always take all the blame at the end of the day, and that's the manager. And until we sort out the real deadwood in the squad and get rid of that, you know, that horrible bit of mentality that we seem to bring with us, that we are always going to mess it up somehow, you know, until we get rid of that, we will never progress as a club.
If Mourinho can't get that out of us, who can?
That's the thing. This is my whole thing at the start when I'm so pro Jose in because he has such a good track record. Like, if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be him. But if he's like this now, like, you know, he can only say his tactics. He can only do what he wants, and you know, the players aren't robots. You know, they're not they won't do everything that he's wanting to do all the time. But listen, he can only tell them to go out and do what he says. I very much doubt last night he said go out and sit back for the whole time and put in a 0 out of 10.
Well, Hugo Lloris said what he said, you know, go out, get the goal as soon as possible, kill this tie.
Exactly. It's about time someone spoke out and stuff, because we get absolute silence from every player after an absolute disgusting performance. And coming on the back of Arsenal as well, you know, the players know it's a big game for us fans. And, all right, you win some, you lose some, you support the team. It's the manner you lose the game in. And
exactly.
Again, last night is just disgusting. Like, honestly, I've never seen such a poor Spurs side in my life, and you know, I will be there to win and lose, but come on, you know, you put in a performance like that is disgraceful, and I'm not surprised the whole fan base is absolutely disgusted.
Coming into the game this weekend, any chance we can get anything out of the game this weekend?
There's a chance, a slim one, I think, but in a way, we still have top 4 and nothing really else to play for anymore now. It's sort of, we always seem to do better when there's no pressure on, and now we're 7th or 8th in the league, and you know, the players just gonna, you know, they're just gonna play each game and see how it goes from there on. Now we have nothing else to play for, and yeah, maybe we maybe have a chance, maybe not, I don't know, we'll see how the players bounce.
Score prediction, put you on the spot.
1-0.
1-0, yeah.
1-0.
I think that's the safe scoreline to go for, isn't it? 1-0.
Yeah.
But look, Kingsley, great getting you on again, and hopefully we'll be back in the stadiums in no time.
Yeah, let's see. Let's hope we get the banners up.
Yes. we're not Arsenal. All right, I'll see you later, Kingsley.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Cheers. All right, let's keep going. I think we've got 2 more guests. Let's get Lewis on.
Lewis.
How you doing, Lewis? I think you're on mute. Can you turn off mute?
Is that our end?
Lewis, talk.
Hello.
There you
yes,
go.
Lewis, we can hear you now. Lewis, how you doing, mate?
Oh, I'm doing alright. It's a terrible result.
Yeah.
I can't. My dad didn't turn off the TV. I don't know why.
Should have turned it off.
Probably
last minute though, he said turn it off.
Did he turn it off against Arsenal?
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
turned off.
Is your dad Mourinho out?
Yeah, so well, you never know. We can trust him next season, but no, it's not happening.
What do you think can save Jose's job?
Well, a lot of things can save Jose's job, including talk to them properly, saying stop parking the bus. And obviously, he controls parking the bus, but he needs to go attacking to score more goals, and that will get us up into the 4th place position. And that's where we need to be in this horrible season so far.
Can we win the Carabao Cup?
I mean, that's a day after my birthday.
Oh, so we're definitely going to win then. We're definitely going to win. We've got your luck on our side, you know what I mean?
Yes, let's hope.
Will your dad
Hope
let
we
you
can
watch that
win.
one?
Well, yeah.
Tell him, even if we start losing in the cup final, you got to watch it till the end. Because remember what happened against Chelsea in 2008? I mean, you're probably a bit too young, but we went 1-0 down.
Yeah.
We ended up winning the game in extra time. So keep the faith in the cup final because anything can happen.
Yeah. Well, on Arsenal game, it was Mother's Day, and yeah, I just watched it 'cause my mum had work all day. Poor her.
Oh, I see. Are you confident for the game this weekend? And what's your score prediction?
I'm feeling quite confident because if we lose against Aston Villa, the season's basically over.
Mm.
And I reckon go with a 2-2 this time.
A 2-2.
Ooh, a lot
All
of
right.
goals.
Yes.
All right,
Can't
Lewis.
keep a clean sheet, can we? No chance.
Lewis, absolute pleasure as always. Thank you so much for coming on the channel, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Lewis.
And finally, I think let's get Danny on. Yes, Danny, all right, mate?
There he is.
Yeah, not bad. How are you doing?
Yeah, just getting through it, you know.
How did you lot sleep last night?
Not well. Not
Yeah.
well.
Not well,
great.
literally.
Yeah, I think a lot of us were like that last night.
Yeah, I went to bed angry, woke up even more angry.
Yeah, I think it's probably the worst I've woke up in a long time after a bad Spurs result.
Well, I woke up and I was hoping it was a bad nightmare that I had last night, and I was just hoping it wasn't real. And then
Yeah, that nightmare turned into reality, didn't it?
I opened my phone, I was like, oh, it actually did happen. Oh, for God's sake.
Literally wake up in a cold sweat. Did we lose to 3-0 to Dynamo Zagreb last night?
I probably had nightmares about less damaging defeats than
Yeah,
that.
probably, yeah.
And like that actually was real. And I'm like, oh, for God's sake.
Oh,
but Danny, going into the Villa game on Sunday, is there any hope for you that if we do keep like a core group of players who seem to still be on side with Jose, then maybe that could be the way to just start going on a run? Or do you think that too much damage done at the moment?
It's hard to say because like this season, when we've had a bad result, every time we've had a really damaging result, their confidence just gets completely shattered, and they just seem to go on this they just seem to not believe in themselves anymore. And it's a lot of the players. I know we all know like the players who shouldn't really be at that club anymore because they don't play for the badge. I know I spoke about it, and a lot of us spoke about it last night as well.
Yeah.
And I think if Mourinho can keep fit his top players like Højbjerg, Son, if Son's back on Sunday, that's a massive thing for us. I think Son, Kane, Reguilon, I think Toby, they're like and Lloris, I think they're our main core. But I wanted to touch on Lloris as well a little bit. I know his interview last night was a great interview, but he has also not helped with his performances as well. Because if you've watched his distribution over the last sort of few games, he keeps giving the ball back to the opponents every single time. He did it in the Arsenal game against Pepe, who got that ball and passed it into Lacazette, which then it led to the penalty. And I've just seen it again last night. He just keeps giving the ball away a lot. And I know he's obviously trying, but it's just, I think there's just so many people in that squad that just should not be there anymore. And I think there's a lot of it is based on just personal agendas. I think there's a lot of personal agendas in that squad right now. You've got people like, I know Lamela, the thing is, we all like his attitude in terms of how he wants to play, but has he really given this enough over 8 years? He's scored like 17 goals in 8 years. I mean, that's not good enough for a Tottenham player. And I know he's had the injury problems, but that's up to whoever's in charge to decide whether he's actually worth being in the squad.
Yeah, but also, Danny, you've got to find buyers as well to take them off your hands. And
well, the thing is, right, even if you listen to Fabrizio Romano, right, he's been saying that there are clubs in Italy that want Lamela, but the different thing is, he even said it recently the other day. The only thing is that Lamela likes Tottenham and wants to stay at Tottenham, but if the board and the manager said, I don't want you at this club anymore, I know it would be a tough thing to say to him because he gives 110% whenever he plays. Usually, it's just that he's not available enough for us to impact the squad enough over a course of a season. So, and obviously we know that people like Dyer, Sissoko. I know you can question Davis, but technically Davis is not good enough as for ability wise. But you've got those kind of players that are just not good enough for our squad. And going into this game, like I said, if he can keep the main core, the ones who he trusts fit, then there's a chance. It's a very small chance because it all depends on how this team bounce back. And this season in particular, we've shown time and time again that once we have a bad result, we just can't seem to pick ourselves up. And it takes something really kind of a bit of luck as well for us to pick ourselves up. So I'm not sure on the game on Sunday. I mean, part of me is confident because we want us to win and feel that there's a potential chance of us actually getting a slight 2-1 victory or something like that. But my thoughts at the moment, it can go either way. It could be a 1-1. I feel it could also be my head's also saying it could be a 2-1 Villa. So I'm not sure.
I mean, when you cast your mind back to the Pochettino era, every time we had a bad result, we used to bounce back. We used to bounce back well.
That was one of the beauties of his teams.
Exactly. You know, we used to bounce back so well, but then when it got to the latter ends of Poch, when we weren't bouncing back as well as we were, you knew it was coming down to the end.
Yeah.
Are you feeling the same now?
I've heard a lot of people. I think Daniel just before touched on it as well. There's a lot of those players that you know that I think we all know Poch didn't want them, right? He wanted to get rid of a lot of those players. Yeah. And for me, I just think no matter who you bring in, right? Like Daniel was saying, Jose Mourinho, as much as we all don't agree with some of his decisions and some of his tactics, I don't think his tactics is to sit back. I think it's just he hasn't got the players who can play the way he wants them to play. He wants them to press. He wants them to not play with fear. But there's too many of them that just. I think it's a little bit of Jose's fault in terms of management, in terms of trying to give these players confidence. But at the end of the day, they're playing for Spurs. They're getting paid a lot of money to play for Spurs. They should be able to give effort 100%. And you saw it yesterday and against Arsenal. There's so many players that just weren't putting the effort in, and that's like the most basic fundamental of like he said, life and football. Like if you don't have that, then how can you be a professional footballer? How can you be a successful footballer? And there's only a few of them in the squad who've got that sort of attitude, and it's just like the vast contrast between the really top players at our club and then the fringe players. It's just a massive gap in between. So for me, the only way this gets fixed, I don't think it's the manager needs to be changed. I think those players need to be sold. Sim was saying last night, Poch in his first season he sold. At the end of that first window, so when his first proper summer window, he cleared out the squad. That's what we need. We need another clear out, and I don't know whether it's Kane or Son that's going to go. I mean, like I said, I think the one that's more likely to go, I think, is probably Son, just because of the value of who can afford him. I honestly don't know if someone's going to pay 150 million for Kane, because you've got people like Haaland. If Man City go for Haaland, they pay 100 million this season. That's 50 million less than say what Daniel Levy wants for Kane, and they've got a player with longevity, and he's 20 years old. Who else apart from, you say, PSG? But do you really see Kane wanting to go to the French league? He wants to break records in England. He wants to win the Premier League. That's what he wants. And the only way he's going to do it is if he goes to someone like Man City or potentially United. But I don't know.
But you know, even if, what would Kane rather do? Would he rather stay at Tottenham for the rest of his career and potentially win nothing, or go to PSG and potentially win the Champions League with Poch?
It's a hard one to say. He loves Spurs.
They've never won the Champions League. PSG.
Yeah, and that's the thing, haven't. Right?
So
he loves
there?
What?
He loves Spurs, right? And he loves the Premier League. He wants to break Alan Shearer's record. That's what I see. He wants to be the best in England. He wants to be known as the best player ever to play in the Premier League. That's what he wants, right?
But can he fulfill that at Tottenham?
See, I don't think so. Not the way it's going at the moment. Like we can all see it. Like the only way it's going to change is if Daniel Levy changes his ideas and decides and speaks to Jose, and they both agree and say, look, we need a squad clear out. The only way Tottenham are going to get back to those heights, or even close to challenging to those heights, is we need to get rid of these fringe players and bring in better quality. Now, obviously, not having Champions League football is also going to be detrimental to us, because you can't attract the best players when you don't have Champions League football. But Jose has got pulling power. So if I'm not saying winning a Europa League Cup's gonna make a difference, but Jose Mourinho being there can help attract players if we can manage to clear out the deadwood and raise a bit of money to get some players that he might want, and that's how I see it. I honestly don't think Jose is the biggest problem here. We know that these who else is really going to come in and make our current players perform better than what they're doing?
No one. If
No
we
one.
keep revolving
There's no one.
managers, it'll be the same story over and over again.
There's no. We're gonna be sitting here, and do you know what? Right, I want to touch on this as well. Like, I think that Alistair Gold was putting in a report. I think today or yesterday I saw saying that they paid out 20 million for Pochettino, right, to leave the club when they sacked him. If they were to sack Jose Mourinho in the summer, that's another 30 million. They're saying that's 50 million pounds on managers. That money could be used for a centre back. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they backed Poch even then, that money, if they do decide to sack Mourinho, that's 50 million down the drain. I mean, that's just it's unthinkable
Crazy.
to think that Daniel Levy is running the club like that, just changing, wasting money on managers when the real investment is needed in that squad. There's too many dead wood in there. We know that. So I personally want Jose to stay, and I want Levy to back up his ideas and say, look, Jose, I agree with you. I think we need to get rid of some of these players too.
All right, Danny. Absolute pleasure having you on as always. And
always.
hopefully we'll be
Nice one,
speaking
Danny.
to you after 3 points on Sunday.
I hope so too, lads. Come on, you Spurs. Let's do this. Come
you
on.
Spurs.
Come on,
on.
you Spurs.
All right, so that is the end of a mammoth pre-match fan show
it's a long
and press conference reaction. 2.5 hours of Spurs therapy again.
I need to have their say on Jose at the moment.
Yeah,
It's a
again on
crucial
you
moment.
guys. So, I mean, there's a lot to say on Spurs at the moment. Hopefully, we'll be talking about some sort of points on the board this weekend because we desperately need it.
Can we end off on this note? Can we ring on the phone for a sec? Just for a sec. Just to show what Jose has to deal with at the moment. This was a 3-0 last night.
What is this? This man's
We
a
need to get back
professional
in the game.
footballer. What is that?
Boom.
What is that?
Lovely from Sissoko.
Great.
Lovely stuff.
What is this?
I thought it was funny.
Thanks for showing us that. But look, thanks for everyone for joining us today. We've still got loads of content coming your way this weekend before the game. We've got your Premier League predictions coming tonight. You've got a match preview and predicted lineup coming out tomorrow. And then obviously on Sunday it is match day. So we'll be back for another watch long, another post-match fan show, another 2 hours of Tottenham therapy for you guys on Sunday night. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing all of you guys on Sunday yet again. Thank you everyone for joining us. Happy weekend. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.
Bye.